Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Refugee to Industrial Regent, Season 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the construction site of the newest outpost of Basilean Industria, Melitene. And I start off here with the main road through the center of that will pass through the center of the outpost, as well as the train station that will connect Melitene to Byzantium. It's a simple train station, virtually identical in design to the train stations in the rest of the Basilean, with the exception of the depot in Byzantium. The roof, which is not particularly complicated, and realizing I had no stone brick slabs, I opted to cut down a nearby bush and make a crafting station out of it. And finally, just finish off the road, get it lit up, more or less, and go with the first intersecting road. There will be two intersecting roads over the course of this time lapse. The first one runs to the south and allows access to the storehouse, which you will see built shortly. And yes, I am filling in that area between the road and the seawall. That is deliberate. And finally clearing out some space for that, and taking the train back to Byzantium. Now to actually begin on the storehouse here in Melitene, I opt to lay out the walls first, and to build up to the seawall on one of the sides. You do see some water flowing into this digging area. I am digging out a basement, about 3 blocks deep. Building up the walls of stone brick. This will be where the items come in to the storehouse, but you'll have to wait until next episode to actually see that. And yes, I did leave an access to the basement. Now with the basement and the floor of the first floor complete, I lay out the interior columns. These will mark where the chests / barrels will go, and continue building up the walls. I opted for spruce wood for the support structures for this because Melitene is meant to be an agricultural outpost. In fact, it's going to be a fully automated agricultural outpost in the way that Odysseus cannot be this stage. I do admit that the problem with Odysseus is a matter of how I built it. The fields are a little bit tight. Fine for manual work. Not so good for automation, at least not at this point. There may be ways to automate it, but they'll likely have to wait until next stage. And yes, you did see a jump cut in the time lapse. That does cover for a trip back to Byzantium. It is IRL about I forget how long it is exactly. I want to say 3 to 4 minutes by passenger train from Melitene to Byzantium. The item train that you will see later on takes even longer. And speaking of the item train, having finished up the storehouse, it's time to build the next two buildings for Melitene. And they are the power plant and main kitchen. Of course, the main kitchen is going to be where a lot of food processing will take place. But you will see more of that next episode as well. I've gone ahead and dug a bit of an access tunnel between the power plant and the kitchen, so that I can run a power line through there. And here I am extending out the main road a bit, and now building the access road that will allow me to get into the power plant and to the kitchen, as well as building up to the seawall. Bit more work with the main road, and now I can actually start building up the walls to the power plant, as well as a minor entryway. I'd considered using plain cobblestone, but ultimately decided to use chiseled cobblestone. White stone for the walls. Simple cobblestone roof with torches. And now that I look at it, I do see that one of the torches on the roof of the power plant is out of place. But I can go ahead and fix that off camera. Or maybe not, I don't know. I don't know how likely it is that I'll see it again. But anyway, it is an issue. Now the entryway, and voila! Having built 4 of the structures for the new outpost of Melitene, it's time to put 2 of them to use. This structure that I just entered is the power plant. This here is a boarding track with a redstone torch, and that was there pretty much solely for testing purposes. Mostly so that I can make sure that the cart will actually get all the way over here. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dig up this floor a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and lay down the item unloader. Go ahead and set the boarding track on top. Alright, immediate's fine. Alright, let's see. 2 item ducts, a pneumatic servo, and the barrel I will need here. So let's go ahead and, set this up with a pneumatic servo to output. We're going to ignore a redstone signal here. So it's always going to be on. And then we're going to put the barrel here. The only thing that should ever be coming through here is charcoal. And I'll explain where that comes from in the next segment. Alright. At any rate, now we have this here. Alright. Now I need to get my dynamos. I just realized I have a potential placement issue, don't I? Well, anyway, let's see. Hardened energy conduits. I'm going to go ahead and, let's dig this up. Yeah, I want to go 3 down here, and then 1 over. Now, I also want to make sure I get this fully lined with cobblestone. Like so. 3 here. And then 2 here. Like so. And I will need to connect to this, but that's a project for next episode. Alright. Now, let's see. 2, 3, and 4. And 4 dynamos. So in order to avoid problems, I want to replace that torch so that it's a bit out of the way. Let me see here. Alright. Now, for this next part, I'm going to go ahead and bring in this leadstone energy conduit, and that's going to be running underneath here. Yeah. Yeah, this looks pretty sensible. Yeah, this should work. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take these 3 here. And I think this is where I'm going to put the aqueous accumulator. Yes, I did bring an aqueous accumulator with me. Go ahead and place that like so. Set it up to output only from the top. Water on the left and the right. Go ahead and get myself some fluid ducts. There we go, like so. And now that should be filling all of these dynamos up with water. And in fact it is, which is good. Actually, do I want a single torch in the middle? Yeah, I probably do. Alright. And the reason is, I still have to get the charcoal, which is in here, over to the dynamos. I want to leave that open. This could be slightly tricky. Anyway, let me see if I can't place this line here like so. Yeah. And then run it over where the tracks will be, down to there. Let me think. Actually, might be for the best. Let me use this hardened energy conduit here. Go ahead and get rid of all of that that's out of place. And proceed like so. Go ahead and put the last dynamos there. Unfortunately, that means that's not going to work there. But that's fine, I suppose. I can always replace the aqueous accumulator here. Yeah. Alright, go ahead and put the cobblestone up there. The water bucket there. Let's see. Fluid duct goes there. Now it should be outputting to all of that. I do have a minor issue. And thankfully, it is only a minor issue. And that is that, well, I have a ladder here that I really want to be able to access. So I kind of need to replace some cobblestone here. Yeah, like so. Yeah, like so. Let's see. Place this with cobblestone here. Here, let me think. I believe this is this where I want to come out? Let me check something here. I actually would almost prefer it to be one more over, wouldn't I? Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and put the liquid duct there to stop the water flow. Go ahead and line this with cobblestone. There we go. More lining with cobblestone. And like so. And that's where I want it to come out. So we'll line it to this point here. Yeah. That'll work. Alright. So let's go ahead and close that up. There we go, and proceed like so. Yeah, like that. Replace that cobblestone there. Yeah. And proceed like so. Alright, now, what's left here? I'm going to have to dig down a little bit to where this ended up. Like so. Because rather than that, I think I actually want... I did bring 2 of these hardened energy cells. So let me think. I want the left to be an output. Right to be on the bottom. Check that it's connected. Yep, we're looking good. So that's all set up, which is nice. And then up here, and did I get that ladder? No, I did not. Okay, now I have the ladder. All right. And then like so. And I will, again, go ahead and get my cobblestone lining. Not there, because that's actually not quite what I want. Okay. Let's see. Hardened energy conduit. Hardened energy cell. There we go. So that's now configured. Now I just have to connect to it to make it useful. So I'll go ahead and connect the energy conduit the rest of the way up. Go ahead and replace the ladder I broke. And go ahead and place a leadstone energy cell. How about here? And then on this one, I want the right to be the output. Now, it should be fairly obvious that I've basically got these in 3 banks. I've got these 4 engines going to that energy cell there, which has a line going off that direction. Next episode, I'll be building more than a few farms off that direction, and I'm going to be powering them off of that line. That energy cell is being powered by this bank of 4 steam dynamos. The line heads off in that direction. It's a little bit less convenient to show you because I have to head out to the main north-south road here, but that's going to power the powered farms in the southern sector of Melitene. And then there's one more line which I used leadstone energy conduit and a leadstone energy cell and a single steam dynamo. And that's actually going to go here. And let me actually show you, actually these 2, well, they're unnecessary, but I can really only get rid of one at this time, because I only have the 1 stone brick. Now, I have basically 4 machines here. There are 2 redstone furnaces. I have the crafting station. I'm going to go ahead and craft the last machine, which is the presser from Pam's Harvest Craft. And it will allow me to basically compress certain materials into other things. Unfortunately, I'm not yet in a position to do much with it. I have the machine. I can't really do anything with it yet. But at this point, I've got the machinery laid down. I've got almost everything in place. Let me go ahead. I have this 1 block smooth white stone, because that really only needs to be 1 high for the cart. There's no point in allowing anything else to come in. Actually, there is one other thing I need to do, and that is to install a pneumatic servo on here and set it to automatically output. Like I said, we're going to have charcoal coming in here. It's going to go into the unloader, which will be emptied into the barrel, and then the barrel will empty its contents into these 9 steam dynamos, which are getting power, or not power, but water from this 1 aqueous accumulator. And then their power is being sent to 1 of 3 banks, which will send power to the rest of Melitene. Now, there's only one thing I have yet to do here, and I can't actually do it from here in Melitene. I actually have to go over to Odessos to do this. And that is to sort out the line that will carry charcoal to Melitene. I shall return in a little bit, though I will show you this partially completed bridge, as well as the almost completely completed, I mean, that bridge is the only part that's not complete, but this pretty much complete land tunnel that I used to travel from Byzantium to Melitene. I shall return in Odessos. Odessos is the 1 outpost in Basilian Industria that has any sort of significant underground development. And that underground development is designed in support of this power system here. We've got these steam dynamos, which power these leadstone energy cells. 1 powers the sheep farm, the other powers the cow farm. Of course, they're fed by this aqueous accumulator. And they're getting charcoal. Now, where's the charcoal coming from? Well, if we make our way underground here a bit, you actually see a rail line extending in that direction, and it actually goes to Petrola. Yeah, Petrola. Because the power plant in Petrola, and I don't know if I showed you the 3 furnaces that I installed in Petrola, but they are producing a significant amount of charcoal, and with the tree farm being the way it is, I don't look for it to ever run out of charcoal. Alright, now I have this set to manual in the hopes of keeping this out of the way. I also had a couple things to craft off camera, so let me go ahead and show them to you. The first is the item detector, and you may recognize this as a component of the recipes for the item loader and unloader, but it is a stone pressure plate surrounded by 8 wood. Next up is the Y track. This is what's going to allow me to, and actually let me explain what I'm going to do with the switching here. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and delete that there. Go ahead and make my way underground here a bit. Alright, making my way up here. Go into my backpack and pull out the item detector. Now, what the item detector is going to do is it's going to detect where the item cart is. So I'll go ahead and put a track up there. And iron ore. Just the one. But it's not a bad idea for me to pick it up at this point. Alright. Now I've got it going to this red alloy wire. Alright. And let me go ahead and cut this a couple yeah, like so. Will work. And then let's go ahead and dig out this little channel up here. Actually, let me go ahead and dig this down one further. Yeah. Alright, so that's going to go to the bottom of that. Now, you can't actually see the wiring as I place it until we get down to here. But yeah, you can see now that that is a completed line. Alright. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to snake that up like that. Now, what it's going to do is, take these toggle latches. Let me show you the recipe for those. It's 2 cathodes, 2 conductive plates, a lever, and 4 circuit plates. And what's going to happen? First off, they need to be rotated. Let me think here. Ooh, I just realized I might have an issue. I don't have a lot of room to work with. Actually, now that I think about it, rather than doing this way, I almost wonder if I wouldn't be better off trying to make this happen down here. Yeah. Alright. So what's going to happen here is, see, that's going to be like that. And that's going to be the input. And then the output's going to come out of here. And yes, I can manually click it. But now I need to set this up with the input this way. There we go. Now you're probably wondering, why 2 toggle latches? Why not try to make do with just 1? Well, here's why. You see, this item detector is going to trip whenever a minecart with items on it passes by this area. Now here's the catch. Every time it goes through here, on every run, it's going to pass that twice. Once on the way out, whether it be to either Petrola or not Petrola, to Odessas or to Melitene, and then once again on its way back to Petrola to pick up more charcoal. Alright? Now I am going to do a quick little test here to make sure that I have this working as I want it to. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set this to immediate. And that's going to send that off right away. And as you can see, that tripped. And it tripped a second time. That's still on. And now it's going to trip that once again. And there we go. So we now have verification that this line here will only change every other time the cart runs through there. So out, in, and then back out, and that will create the switch, and then back in. Now that's exactly what I want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this wire like so. Now, part 3 of this build is the switch motor. It is a red die, a black die, that is to say an ink sac, and a white die, to wit bone meal, a piston, and an iron ingot, and you can swap the piston and iron ingot, and a receiver circuit. The receiver circuit is a little bit more complicated to make. It's a repeater, 2 wool in the corners, lapis lazuli, redstone, a gold ingot, and a slime ball. Yeah, it's not an easy recipe to make. Alright? Now that said, crap, I might have actually gotten in the way of that. Alright. Let me see here. Or is that actually interfering? I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But I am going to go ahead and mine it up. It takes a very long time to mine up by the looks of it. Actually, just to make sure that the cart doesn't become an issue, I'm going to go ahead and set that to manual, and that's going to stop the cart. I'm also going to go ahead and take the opportunity to repair the track that I broke there, and then up here as well. Alright, now, let me see if actually, there is one more thing I need to do. There is that one last component. I might as well go ahead and set it down. Also go ahead and take care of the cobblestone. Now that I know that the item detector is working as intended. Yeah, go ahead and go like so. Go ahead and lay that like that. And the last item is this Y track. And the recipe is 8 standard rails and a wooden rail bed on the far right. And this Y track is basically a switch track. Alright, and as you can see, it's currently configured to send a cart to the right. Now, if I trip that, that turns it off, I think. Okay, so that sends cars to the left, and turning it off sends cars to the right. Okay. Alright, now, I think I actually want that on. Yeah, that is on and sending carts to Odessos, and both of these latches are on. That means the next time the cart goes through here, it's going to turn that off. Actually, do I want that off? Yeah, I think I do. Because if I turn that off, that will send it down the Melitene line. And that's where I want it to go next. So I think that's actually okay. Yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and place down the last of my track, like so. This will be interesting, I think. Let me think. I did craft the spare lever. I didn't know if I needed it or not. But I don't think I want it there. The cart should be fine, I would think. Alright. But yeah. we basically have a system that will switch the cart, which is carrying charcoal from Petrola, between Odysseus and Melitene. So now I'm going to keep an eye out on this, and I'm going to verify that this works. So this should send it to Melitene. I shall return once I can verify that it works. Alright, and we're about to see if this works. It should go to my... Okay, it went off to my right. It quickly unloaded. And now it's going to head back to Petrola. And the next time it comes, it should pass out to the left. Now, given the distance from here to the charcoal production in Petrola, which is around here, it's about a 3 to 4 minute round trip to Odysseus. And I expect it would be around a 9 to 10 minute round trip to Melitene. That's 9 to 10 minutes IRL, not in-game time. That said, I do think, I have this all sorted out, at least as far as getting power to Melitene. So I'm actually going to go ahead and call the episode here, make my way back to Byzantium. I'll probably go ahead and post the watch in Melitene, because it's going to be about 7 to 8 minutes IRL before it arrives and starts dropping off charcoal and starts powering all of my dynamos. And before you ask, yes, the entire line is chunk loaded, all the way from Petrola to Melitene. So it should not be a problem for the cart to make it. I also tested the line to make sure that a fully loaded item cart could make the trip. It can. So everything should be in order, and we will, before too much longer, see some charcoal and Melitene. But you will have to wait until next episode when I actually do something with the power generated by that charcoal. I think I've hit a reasonably good wrapping up point. Well, okay, I might go ahead and show you this section of the tunnel that goes over the wall, just so that I have a safe way to Melitene. And in case you're wondering, this is the center of the line in this section, but it actually becomes the right-hand line with the item cart on the left there. But that said, I think I've hit a good wrapping up point. I will see you next time, everybody, with the rest of the construction of Melitene.